Arne Slot has completely changed system to fix Liverpool's problems, but still major issues remain, with just 5 wins from their last 18 league games. So what is really happening here? I'll be breaking down how Slot's new midfield creates overloads but new problems, why Liverpool keep turning control into costly turnovers, and how their aggressive shape is being punished in transition. So, first things first, what exactly do Slot's new tactics look like? And what problems are still in place? Well, to understand this, firstly, we need to understand what Slot is even trying to achieve with this new tactic. Because Arne Slot has changed. He's changed from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-2-2-2. Now, key to this has been the 4 midfielders, who have regularly operated in close proximity while forming a diamond-like structure. So from that starting point, that quartet can form overloads, rotate and combine to unlock back lines, which they've done quite well. Here's a great example from that brilliant win against Marseille, where they combine so well to free up Szoboszlai between the lines. And the average position map versus Marseille, it shows the areas that they occupied, with the diamond shape very apparent. Watch this same structure bear fruit to form a 3 versus 2, and it gets Szoboszlai free once again. And in this example, the overload helps them beat the Bournemouth press with ease. So against Bournemouth, that central presence, it allows them to outnumber Bournemouth and access the space between the lines. So the goal here is to manipulate opponents to open those passing lanes and then access those vital spaces in zone 14. Look at Wirtz here. He spots the passing lane, he receives and gets on the end of a tidy up, back and through to progress the play. And here, Wirtz's dropping paves the way for JaackMaate to attack that space in behind. And their flexible positioning has created really nice angles and it's given them diagonality. And I think it's going to be key in unlocking any defences, which has become a problem for Liverpool recently. Now, a key part of Slot's idea is those constant rotations. He saw PSG last year and he said, I think I want a little bit of that. And in this example, you can see Gravenberch, who's been let loose a little bit in this new diamond formation. Him and Szoboszlai, they rotate, allowing the latter to get in behind before combining with Gravenberch to create a promising opening. And then this time with Florian Wirtz. That rotation between himself and Gravenberch, it helps free up McAllister later in the move. And here, Gravenberch switching got him free between the lines to earn himself a free kick, which Szoboszlai actually scores from. So in this shape, Slot wants his 2 strikers to split wide and stretch the back line as much as possible. And you can see Salah exploits the space out wide with a well-timed run in behind. And this movement, it drags centre-back Senesi out, opening up a huge central gap. And their high and wide positioning is illustrated perfectly here, stretching the opponent both horizontally and vertically. They pin opponents and create room for the midfielders and fullbacks depending on the situation. Because you're a loser like me, because you're a nerd like me, because you're a great footballing brain like me, you'll know what the average positions for Liverpool often looks like and where Salah is. And yep, there he is. Salah in that high position, it reflects Slot's intention to stretch the opposition's back line and pinning them back as well at times. Either way, it's a positive for Liverpool. Slot also instructs multiple players to attack the box at the same time. Look how they have a whopping 7 players inside the box, including both fullbacks. And it's very aggressive, which is, I think, what Liverpool fans are screaming for, but it does pose issues, which we'll touch on later. And this attacking approach gives the ball carrier multiple options at different heights and depths across the pitch. And it's got loads of positives to it, but like any system, there can be problems as well. So what exactly are the problems here? Well, let's begin with their on-the-ball issues. Because with players given a lot more freedom, which I think Liverpool fans have wanted to see within this far more loose and fluid structure, new problems do start to appear. Slot's system encourages players to force the issue, often attempting risky forward passes. And this is highlighted by Liverpool's unsuccessful pass map against Bournemouth, where the possession is leading to a lot of turnovers. But with players adapting and building new connections, those errors have been costly. That could be just growing pains. But also, that narrow shape and those high fullbacks can be severe if their counter-pressing is broken. Have a cheeky look at all that vacant space on the flanks. It must be said that their counter-pressing actually can be really, really effective. Of course, you've got that strong central presence, which means they quickly regain possession high up the pitch, which is great if it happens. But we'll explore this in a bit more depth in the outer possession section. Because next, I want to talk about how Salah has fared when asked to play narrow in this system. Because here you can see him dropping deep with his back to goal and turning the ball over. Now, these aren't the areas where he thrives. His game is receiving wide in 1v1s, facing forwards so he can cut inside and open his body to finish, like we've seen so many iconic times. Now, his heat map against Bournemouth, it shows him coming central and deep, and that is just not his preferred position, in my opinion. That lack of a partnership with Frimpong, it has also limited combinations on that right flank. And with players crowding the middle in this setup, the scope for improvement, I do think it is significant. You know, relationships are so integral in this system, and you've got loads of smart, techie players, but that takes time. It takes time to grow. And many of their in-possession issues go hand in hand with their out-of-possession issues. So by virtue of that compact structure and pushing the fullbacks high, when they then do lose the ball, serious problems can occur. As we touched on initially, you've got both fullbacks pushed extremely high here. That leaves the centre-backs vulnerable, as Marseille exploited at times, in those huge spaces out wide. Bournemouth took no mercy exploiting the wide areas as well, left vacant by the onrushing Frimpong, while Salah's turnover accelerated things. You've got Frimpong nowhere in shot as Bournemouth surged forward down their left. And then another sloppy turnover here, which in combination with Frimpong being so high, allows Bournemouth to hurt them in transition. It's just a little bit too easy peasy. Now, on the theme of errors, their individual and collective mistakes have constantly proven costly. Take this instance for Bournemouth's opener, where Liverpool are just way too relaxed. They don't press as a unit. And what that does is it leaves Senesi with a ton of time to assess his options and then play in Scott, whose run isn't tracked by McAllister. This forces Van Dijk to cover. His sloppy attempt at clearing the ball then falls to Scott, who feeds Evan-Ilson to score. And this happened far too often for the reigning champions. Let's remember that. Bournemouth's second goal further shows how the standards have slipped at this moment in time. Watch Hill here. He's carrying the ball out. There's just no real pressure applied. That's just not Liverpool for me. And he's allowed to carry unimpeded almost up to the final third, and then he plays that lovely through ball to Jimenez, who scores. It's just terrible tracking by Kirkes to get beaten by Jimenez like that on his blind side. And the problems go further back than just the Bournemouth game. This sequence against Fulham highlights Liverpool's pressing issues, with players unsure whether to step out or hold their positions. Have a look at Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Konate. They just completely blow the marking assignment of Harry Wilson, who is such a danger this season, who goes on to score. And it's that lack of cohesion to press high that is making it really easy for the opposition to progress the ball. Salah often presses the centre-back and then stays high, and that leaves this wide area open, and it's allowing opponents to easily progress through their fullback. And of course, Liverpool fans, you won't need me to tell you this one, but it's not just from open play, as Liverpool have conceded the second most set pieces in the league. Slot's revised tactic, I'll be honest, it just doesn't feel sustainable. And maybe that's due to all the injuries, so he's just trying to make something fit right now. But tweaks are required to get them back to their best. Are more signings required between now and the end of the window? Well, I found 5 players that Liverpool could sign. If you want to check that out, click right here.